monster, which you can do that as well if you want to. Have fun and play with it, guys. Seriously. All right, so I've basically got my face here, right? So I've got all my features that I really need for my face. So then I would want to start to think about arms, or maybe I don't want arms, maybe I want ears or legs. Now, legs are kind of tricky. Legs, you don't really want them to be any thicker than your thumb, but no thinner than like a pencil. If you go too thin, they're not going to hold up your monster. But if you go too thick, then it could blow up. It's going to make your monster really heavy. So make sure that you're not going too extreme one way or the other. So what I like to do, and with your monster too, depending on how you've created your monster might still be too heavy to support even a thicker leg. So sometimes what you do is you tip your monster over, and then you can create a base with your monster. So I'm going to leave some clay here for arms or something, or ears, or I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to try to get kind of 2 even size balls of clay here. And then I'm going to create some legs. Maybe I'll have to have a tail or something. Or maybe I'll go divide it up. We'll do 4 legs. Okay, so my legs aren't going to be huge. Mine are going to be more like little nubs. So I think I'm going to go with rolling more like a little straight, like a fat quail, I guess. And then maybe, let's do that with all of them. Let's do little fat quails real quick. Oops, that one didn't work out real well. Roll it into a ball first, maybe. And then another little fat quail. The idea is that they're all the same size, but clearly mine are not all the same size. And that's okay. It's a monster. Maybe he's got crazy legs. Maybe your legs aren't legs at all. Maybe they're like octopus tentacles. Or maybe it's a fin. I have a monster in the classroom that is a fin. It's more like a fish monster. All right, so now I got like 4 little legs here, kind of relatively all the same size. So now I have to decide what I want to do with them. So I think maybe what I'll do is I'll just take, maybe just kind of arch them up. So you kind of see like I created like a little divot there. Can you see that? There you go. So I'm going to create a divot on all of them, because I want them to all kind of match. And I say kind of match because there's just no way. They kind of look like little shoes now. Didn't do that on purpose, but that's kind of fun. Let's go with the fat side up. And I'm just totally winging this, guys. Like, there's nothing like fancy about this, right? Like, I'm just literally going. I obviously didn't sketch my monster. Sorry. I should have done that first. So now I have 4 legs that are kind of equal, and I'm going to slip and score them on. So I'm just going to add them to the bottom here, and these might actually support my little guy. We'll have to see. So I have to decide how I want to add them. I think I'm going to add them. Remember, that's going to be upside down. Dang. Okay, I think I'm going to add them like that. So I'm going to add each one individually. Maybe I'll kind of score them up all together here. I'm kind of putting them on the side at an angle. So I got to get this one wet. And like I said, it's kind of at the side. So I'm going to kind of do this a little bit on the side. We'll see how this works out. Oh, dang it. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to add that one there. Sometimes you can just dip the actual fork into the water and get enough water on it. Once it has a bunch of goop on it, sometimes it works out. Add that one there. I'm kind of going fast with this, guys, and I made my legs kind of small, but you guys can, like I said, you guys can get crazy with it and add. Now, once these get kind of wet on the bottom, they're going to want to stick to the surface. So once you've made it this far, if you turn it over, you're probably going to want to put something down, like a paper towel or a piece of paper or something. I just happen to have a little piece of paper towel here, so let's do that. Oh man. Okay, so now I've got my little legs here, so now I can go through and kind of clean up these edges again. You always want to make sure you're cleaning the edges. You don't want to wait till after things have been fired. We do usually provide sandpaper in the classroom, but it takes like 10 times longer, and it's super, super not a good idea to breathe in sandpaper, clay, dust. Sometimes you can mash that back in there. There we go. So you always want to try to clean up edges as much as you can before we fire things. So much faster to just use a sponge like this than to try to get a little angled piece of sandpaper in there. I moved the camera. My bad, guys. Sorry about the motion sickness. Okay. So I cleaned him up pretty good. And now I can stand him up and see what he looks like. You guys can't really see that. Here, I'll try to show you off this like little pedestal thing. See how it sticks to the paper? So I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's how he's going to stand. And then I can readjust things if I need to. Like this leg, I'd like it to be standing up a little bit more like on its tippy toe. Same with this one. So you can kind of readjust once you get things attached when they're brand new and added on together. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, and my little guy's going to support himself, it looks like. So it's kind of a good idea to have like a little something that you can put it on, so that way when you put it in and out of your bag, it'll help with that. So those are legs. So then you can get crazy with arms. Again, with arms, I usually just use coils. So I'll probably just take a coil. Nope, that's kind of a big arm. Let's go with half of that. So we'll take the coil. Now, again, you don't want your arm to be too thin. Thinner than a pencil is going to be too thin. I'm going to use the end of this guy, and we're going to make little like claw pinchers. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. I've got to slip and score it. Ooh, it fell. I knew that was going to happen. Score that up. Score that up. Have you guys ever seen the construction workers on the streets when they repave the roads, and they make one of the road on the ground super grooves, like it's like all rough and whatnot, before they lay the new asphalt down? This is like the same idea. The idea is that you've got to rough up the ground so that when you put the new pieces together, they interlock and they tighten together. If you just were to have it flat in a flat, then it's more likely to peel up and just come apart. So that's the whole idea with slipping and scoring, if you really wanted to know all the theory behind it. Okay, so I got to make another one. And I think I'm going to do this, where I'm going to just take its little tip off of there, kind of smash that back down to make it the base. Just rolling out little coils, which is our next project too, is a coil pot. So it's not exactly the same, but it's a monster. Maybe I'll just take off this end and it'll be more the same. Okay, so add a little slip and score here. Now I'm going really fast. I don't expect you guys to go this fast. I mean, sometimes it just works that way, that you just have all these great ideas and it just comes together so quick. But, you know, like sometimes it'll take you a couple days, and that's fine too. All right, so when I attach this, if I attach it this way to our monster, it's going to be very fragile and probably break off. However, if I attach it kind of on its side, like this, and slip and score it, then that's going to be way more stable. It's going to have a bigger surface area, and then I could blend this side in. So let's slip and score that. Now you can see that that stuck to it pretty... Ooh, dang it, I just did that. You can see that that stuck to it pretty good, but it still is going to stick to it way better once we slip and score. Let's see, on our fingers, our thumbs up. Let's do this side first. Not that it has to be anything like humans, but sometimes I like to play with that. Okay, so then I take this and slip and score it this way. And then I'm just going to blend that in so it just blends in real nice. And then I can play with the positioning, like maybe he's itching his eye, or maybe he's messing with his mouth, or maybe he's got an itch on his top of his head. Let's go with the top of his head. Anything but straight out is going to be more sturdy. So if I had this arm just sticking straight out of here like this, then that is not going to be very stable. It can hit something and get just bounced off right away. So I typically like to have it positioned where like my hands are in some sort of a position to where it's going to be reattached somewhere or just not going to fall off easily. So you can see my little monster is like really taking some shape now. You could also put ears here, or you could even still add ears. There's lots of room for playing with ears and stuff if you wanted to go crazy. But like, this is where you guys get to be creative. Like, you can add as much as you want to your monster. So you could add a bow, or maybe he has a bow tie. That would be super cute, like a button-up shirt or something. I'm thinking maybe he's got his hand kind of on his hip on this one. So maybe like, oh yeah, I'm digging that for sure. And it would be probably best if we slip and scored like these little pieces to it, but for this demonstration, we're not going to worry about it. You could also move this more towards like, more down towards like, it's actually his hand up on his hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Your parents are probably going to get that, but you guys probably won't. It's an old song. Old song. Okay. So we got our hand on our hip. We got a hand up on top. Makes them more stable. You guys could get crazy with eyelashes. Now remember, eyelashes are going to be very, very fragile. You could go crazy with eyebrows. Maybe he has like a mohawk sticking up. Oh, here we go. Maybe he has like a mohawk in the back, or like 3 little hairs. Maybe he's got some hair that comes out and around. You guys can really have fun and get creative with this. Now remember, I did have that face on the backside. What happened to it? Oh, it's still there. And look, he kind of uses the other hand. Oh, it almost looks like a little teapot handle there. Oh, funny. Funny. It's a secret face in the back. So have fun with it, guys. Play around. You guys could add shoelaces. In fact, that's what you could use your little toothpicks for, is small details. Where's my toothpicks? Okay, so you could add some laces back here. Maybe there's like... Psh, psh, psh. Sound effects totally help, by the way. That's how you create your monster. Okay, so I got eyes, arms, mouth, nose. Some special features might just be, maybe he's got a little bow. What does he want? Maybe he has more like a little, I don't know. Let me think about this. Maybe he's got a snake. Snake will be easy, right? Maybe he's got a pet snake. Now, remember when I said the more you work with your clay, the drier it's going to get. If you start to roll coils and you see these little cracks that are starting to form, oh, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see. It doesn't focus that tall. Okay. Well, it's got little cracks in it. So just be aware that the more you work with your clay, the drier it's going to get. Now, you can add some water to it, which is nice. I think I'm going to make a little coiled up snake. Now you can see those cracks way better. So you can kind of just smooth them out, or you can just leave them if maybe your monster deserves it. Maybe he needs that extra little cracks. So I'm kind of just going to pinch this until it looks like a little snake head, if it ever does. And you can add some eyes. Boop. Boop. Now a tongue would be hard, but you could add little nostrils. Even though they don't have nostrils, right? Snakes smell with their tongue. You guys can figure it out. Maybe you have some ridges here. Maybe it's a little rattler. Oh yeah. Maybe his snake is curled up on the inside, or maybe it's like chilling on his side here and all coiled up. I don't know. You can kind of play around with it, right? Like it's crazy. Maybe that's what he actually is holding on to. Ooh, that's a good idea. Boom. Maybe he's actually holding on to his snake up here.